Hi, my name is Duncan. I'm the author of a series of alternate history novels published by Angry Robot, and I'm just going to give you a little introduction to what goes on in them, or perhaps what the setting is and the protagonist. It's always a dance between giving stuff away that you might think are spoilers and giving you enough of the story to understand what's happening. It is in some ways a bit of a strange story. It is a story set in a world that appears to be like Victorian England. But actually, when you look closer, you realise that it is happening in the present day. Something has happened a couple of hundred years ago which has set history off on a different track. A track in which science and technology have been artificially held back. There is a huge international order that has come to banish warfare from the world, but it's also brought some negative things as well. It has held back the wild horses of innovation, as it would say. But in doing so, it's also left a society that has not progressed socially. And so we have a conflicting range of different attributes. Some people have called it dystopian, but I've deliberately really made it ambiguous. We begin with the bullet catcher's daughter as the first novel, which came out in 2014 and charts the history of a character within this alternate history, and her name is Elizabeth Barnabas. There's also little excerpts from an in-world text that becomes very important, and that's a book called The Bullet Catcher's Handbook. I'll just read you the very opening excerpt from that, which gives us our introduction to the entire series of books. And it goes like this. There was once a line marked out by God through which were divided heaven and hell, and thus was chaos banished from the world. The devil created lawyers to make amends. They argued the thickness of that line until there was room within it for all the sins of men to fit, and all the sins of women too. Thus begins the first trilogy, which is the fall of the GasLit Empire. And in that, Elizabeth is a private investigator, and through her investigations she begins to realise things that other people do not know, and she begins to understand the real origin of the GasLit Empire, this great international organisation that has kept the world in a kind of stasis for about 200 years. By the end of that, she's coming face to face with questions that she has to answer about what she feels about that order and how it was set up, and the things that she knows whether she should keep them secret now or not. The second sequence of novels, the second trilogy, is called The Map of Unknown Things. They're each standalone. You could read either one on its own and that would be fine. They answer a question, bring it to its completion within that trilogy, but they also form part of a larger narrative. In The Map of Unknown Things, Elizabeth sets out beyond the bounds of the civilized world, the known world, into areas where it is believed there is only wilderness and barbarism, but things are stirring in that wilderness that are going to shake the very foundations of this international order.